What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Evan. This is my second time doing this because I messed up my screen recording, so here we are. And in this video, I'm going to share with you all of my trades from this week, as well as the ideal trades from each session. And what this does for me is it allows me to go back and see my entries versus what they should have been, right? So markups have been super helpful for me, and I hope this video will be helpful for you in just kind of showing you my strategy and showing you what I have been doing and kind of, you know, my thought process on entries and things of that nature. So if we just hop in right here, we're going to do the week from June 8th to June 12th. It's currently Sunday right now as I'm recording this. And you can see this week I was down $200, and these numbers that you see here are just for one account. I copy trade 3 accounts right now, so just multiply everything that you see by 3 and you will, that's basically how much. So instead of a $200 loss day, it's a $600 loss day. Instead of a $300 win day, it's a $900 win day, right? So I like to trade and really just focus on one account and copy it, because that way I'm able to kind of minimize my risk, and I'm able to sort of spread the loss and the wins around, right? So, and this trade on Friday was, this trading day on Friday was actually a lot worse than it shows right here. I actually went on tilt this day, and it's very interesting that I'm recording it, that I'm recording this week, because this week was really kind of tough for me. And I'll talk about this Friday session and what happened later on. It'll be our last markup. But I'm just gonna go through my markups now, and I hope that you can follow them. I'm gonna kind of explain the strategy and kind of like what I look for and stuff like that. Oh, that's OBS. Okay, here we go. So first I want to start with the ideal trade, and basically what I do is I mark, so this blue line here is going to be the New York VWAP, and I basically anchor it to the market open. That's 6:30 a.m. for me, since I am on California time. And I mark out the pivots. So this pivot I marked out, this is the first one. And basically what I look for now, after I mark out that pivot, and a pivot is basically 3 candle pattern, where the second candle is either lower or higher than the first candle and the third one. So this one is a bullish pivot. So basically what I'm looking for is I'm looking for it to break higher, come back, break below the pivot, and then I'm waiting for a confirmation, usually a candle closure above the blue New York VWAP, okay? So, and then I like to enter on the candle closures, and this is also on the 2-minute chart, as you will see here. Sorry, my roommates are just talking really loud, so I hope you're not able to hear them. But okay, so we're just gonna keep on trekking here. So basically, I enter on that candle close right above the New York VWAP, and I put my stop loss at the invalidation point, and I usually like to target a 1.5R. So this is on NQ. This would have been the ideal trade of the session. I did not take this trade, but I just wanted to start because that's how I trade. I basically mark out my pivots and I wait for break lower or break higher. If it's a short, and a re-entry on or above the VWAP. And that was 6:08 Monday, the ideal. So this is the trade that I did take, and this actually, funny enough, was actually during the Asia session on Sunday night. So because I had a successful trade on Sunday night, I didn't trade Monday, because I'll trade once a day if it's a winner. If my first trade is a loser, then that second trade will be my last trade, win or lose. So at max, I'm only ever taking 2 trades a day. So because this Sunday night trade was a winner, I did not trade Monday. So I marked out this pivot here, but I also marked out this pivot right here. And I saw, right, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, like 10 or more candles that were like all at this point, and really breaking lower but respecting the zone. And so I finally took a long back to that high, and I got a 3.3R on that. And that was just a solid, that was my biggest trade of the week, $300 across my 3 accounts. And that was the trade that I took Sunday night. All right, Tuesday. This was the ideal trade of the session. Marked out this 6:30 a.m. pivot. It breaks below. And so this is a short example. This is great. So breaks below, pivot, breaks above. That's what I'm mostly looking for. I'm waiting for it to retest, break above, and now I'm waiting for it to break below again. And it did just that on this candle here. And not only did it break below the pivot again, but it also closed below the New York VWAP. So that's a perfect entry for me. Boom. Enter short right there with the stop above here, targeting. This was just a 3R. I can't, since this is a screenshot, I can't see previous structure, but there was a reason that this was my target. And I usually like to target a previous structure, previous support or resistance, things of that nature. But you can also see that this, well, you can't see, but this actually ran for way more. But again, you don't need to catch the whole move. As long as you 3R, if I'm risking 150 or 200 on the trade, like that is more than enough. And this is on NQ. And that was the ideal trade. I did not take this trade. Let's see what I did. I lost. I was on MES, and I was trying to long it. So I played off this pivot right here, which is around 640. I saw that it broke below but respected, and it did it again here, and I entered long, targeting the high a day because I really was just kind of bullish bias on this day. But honestly, I shouldn't have even entered this trade because there's no close above the New York VWAP. So if this candle had closed above the blue line, then I would have. If this candle had closed above the blue line, then I would have entered to go long, but I didn't do that. I was a little impatient and kind of just, went for it and paid the price and stopped out. My stop was at the low a day, and honestly, shouldn't have entered this trade. Shouldn't have even entered because I didn't get that VWAP confirmation, which is a new rule that I'm adding because as I go through the ideal trades, it's just more times than not, if you get a close above or below that blue line, it's gonna work out more times than not. I really hope that they're not too loud. I'll see when I'm editing. Okay, so this was 610, which was on Wednesday, and again, just gonna start with the ideal trade. This is on NQ. Marked out this pivot point right here, and saw that it broke above, and then came lower, and then it finally closed below, right on this candle right here. So entry to go short, targeting previous structure with stop loss above the high of day. And this was a nice, cute little 1.5R. That was the ideal trade of the session. Session that I take. I did win. I did take a short on MES. Don't know why. There we go. On MES, I did take a short. But this was also during Asia. This was again not. I think this was Tuesday night, so I ended up not trading Wednesday morning. This was Tuesday night, and this again, I marked out this key pivot level, broke above, but also respected this purple line, which is the overnight VWAP. And so I entered when I saw some short pressure, and then I put my stop loss above that and targeted previous low, full TP, 3R. This was a really nice trade. All right, moving on to Thursday. This was the ideal trade of the session, and I actually did this one kind of wrong. I shouldn't have entered. Ideally, again, I want to enter above the VWAP, so I should have entered right here with stop loss below here and targeting at least a 1.5R. But marked out this pivot, broke below, and third candle bullish above the pivot, entered, boom, and just. That is just the previous high, right? But again, I didn't take this trade. Ideal trade. What did I do? I think I lost, most likely. Oh no, this was my eval win. I'm going to go to my loss first. So this trade, I should have been playing off this pivot since this was kind of the lowest one, but I ended up playing off this key pivot because there was a lot of previous structure that respected this level. And so that's what I did. We had market open, and you could see that it broke below again, and almost tested this, but then it shot back up and closed above the New York VWAP. So I went long, targeting this high right here, and I actually got stopped out, unfortunately, of this trade, but I ended up taking it in my evals. I kind of like got stopped out. I was like, all right, I flipped over to my evals that I copy trade, and I entered probably a little early, but I saw more bullish momentum, put my stop below that, and got out here. And I could have held this, honestly, and probably passed my accounts, but I ended up making 1K in each of my 5 evals, so 5K, which is, I trade 50K accounts, so a third way of passing those after this day, which was really nice. And then, do we just have 12 left? Okay. So now I want to talk about my Friday session. So Friday I went on tilt, which I haven't done in a long time. We're going to start out with the loss that I took. So we have New York Open is this big black bar right here. I marked out the pivot. That's really kind of irrelevant for what I'm about to talk about, but I was playing off of this pre-market pivot right here. And basically what I was looking for, it retested, broke below, it held above the New York VWAP, and it also held below it, above it again, and that's when I entered. I entered right on this candle closure, and usually what I do is I will market buy, like so for this, market buy, and then I'll immediately put my stop loss at where I want my stop loss at. But I did not do that. I market bought, and before I could even place my stop loss right here, it shot down. And I was immediately, so my daily loss limit is $200 in each account. So I like to have it, I like to have it at $200 because it allows me to keep my accounts alive for a longer period of time, right? I don't want to be blowing my funded accounts. I want to be trading them for as long as possible. That's why I've been trading one of my accounts since January, right? So like 5 months I've had the same account. So I didn't place my stop because this price moved down so fast, and I was immediately down like $450, and I was like, what the fuck? Like, I was so caught off guard. I froze. I didn't know what to do, and I was like, okay, let me see if it pops up a little bit, but then I just kind of keep going down, so I just cut the trade around minus $500, and I was pissed. I was so fucking mad, and because it kind of just felt like it wasn't my fault, right? Like, it didn't feel like it felt like it was something out of my control. So I think now moving forward, I'm going to place my stops. If I'm going to market buy or market sell into the trade, I'm going to have my stops placed before, or just be way faster about it, because I just wasn't ready. I was not ready, you know? And this trade, like if I had gotten stopped out for my loss, like I would have been completely fine with this loss, because again, I entered, it did exactly what my trading system and setup does, right? So I wouldn't have even been mad that it was a loss, but I think because it was such a big loss, I was pissed. So I took the big fat loss. I stepped away from the charts for like 10 minutes, and I was going to be done, but I was like, you know what? I saw something on NQ that I really liked, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to risk another $100, because at this point, what's another $100? For a setup that I really liked. So this is the trade that I ended up taking, which actually was, so this week I was 1 for 5 on the ideal trade of the session being the trade that I took, and I'm going to show you that right now. So this ideal trade and the trade that I took is the same trade, because I took the ideal trade of the session for me after I had tilted. So NQ now marked out this pivot here, breaks below it, I said below her again, breaks below it, and then it closes above the VWAP. Enter here, stop loss at the low of day, targeting this previous structure. This was a 1.4R. So I ended up making, turning that $500 loss day into only minus 130 across, actually I was copy trading both my funded accounts along with like my evals too. So, you know, I think I probably shouldn't have gone back in. But again, like, because again, I could have lost. But at that point, I had really like checked myself and been like, you know what? Okay, I'm gonna either take another $100 loss, and that's gonna be it. Like I if this had lost, I was for sure done for the day. I had made that decision before even entering the trade. But yeah, it ended up working out, and I ended up getting a lot of that loss back, which gave me a lot of relief, if I'm gonna be honest. And yeah, let's see the ideal trade. Yeah, it was that same trade, and you can see it kind of went higher. But again, you don't need to catch the whole move. But yeah, guys, that's it. I hope this video was helpful in just kind of showing how I trade. I mostly trade pivots and retests and things of that nature. And I've been having a lot of success with it, and I really like it. It understands. I understand it very well. It kind of fits my trading style, and yeah. And I think, you know, if anything that you guys get from this video, I think the most important thing is you got to do markups. You know, as much as this video is for you guys, it's also for me to go back and see what is working. And I really love doing the ideal trades of each session, because I'm able to really see like what a perfect entry is, what a perfect trade would have been that day. And my goal is for the ideal trade of the session to be the trade that I took. And that was the case for one of the trades that I took. But and I think it just goes with being more patient, right? Like, again, you can see on the screen, like, instead of taking the trade here, which is like, what, this is like 640, right? Instead of taking the trade right here, wait for structure to form a little bit more. I could have marked this pivot out here and waited for another better entry price too, right? I would have been buying here instead of here. I mean, it's not that different, but again, I would have had a clear place to put my stop loss. So I think if anything, just shows me that I'm more patient. And also, I want to talk a little bit about NQ versus ES. So I have mostly been trading ES the last like 4 months, but I've noticed, I think this week moving forward, I'm going to trade NQ this week, because I just noticed that certain, you know, NQ and ES, they move pretty similarly for the most part, but I kind of noticed that sometimes, like if I mark out a pivot, let's say I mark out this pivot, right? Let's use this as an example. Let's say I mark out this pivot on both NQ and ES, right? They typically do the same thing. But on ES, maybe, right, it comes up here and doesn't retest this pivot. Like maybe it'll come down here and then it'll like go higher. Where NQ will retest. Because NQ is a little bit more volatile, I just find it retesting the pivots more times than NQ. And I think this low-key might have been the case on Friday, that I don't even think ES like came back down here. So then the trade really wouldn't have presented itself on ES, where on NQ it did. And I just feel like NQ is a little, you know, it moves quicker too. Like, you know, what? These are 2-minute candles. So if you had, even if you had just been targeting this this open, what is this? 2, 4, actually this would have been 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 minutes for this candle. You know, like that's, and you're done for the day, right? Like that's pretty cool. So I think moving forward, I'm going to trade NQ. But yeah, guys, that's all I have for the video. I hope that it was helpful, and make sure to subscribe, because I'm going to be posting more weekly recaps along with other trading videos as well. But definitely one video a week from me, weekly recaps, going over my trades and stuff like that. But thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.